Check, check. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with us. Just doing some configuration. Almost ready to start. The slides will be available on the website. So just be a bit patient with us.
Uh, yeah, no, okay. Mm, um, so we were here last time. Uh, the placement of Zik, isn't that? So the problem was if we place it on A, we won't be able to get all the local IP information. Why? Because the ISP router or wireless router has a NAT, and the local information will not be able to pass by. So to overcome that challenge, we jump into the second diagram, and it is a little bit improvement. If we place in the C, it allows us to get both the wired and Wi-Fi traffic without the problem of NAT we might have. And if we place it on location D, like after the customer router and before the customer switch, it gives us the comprehensive export of raw log. Either it can be tap or it can be span traffic. And this gives us the clear traffic visibility with the original source IPs. That is what the main goal of our network traffic analysis. Now, if we jump into the hard part, like for the Soho network, we are, if you see the previous diagram and the new diagram, we have ditched the customer router because we don't need any. The customer switch is well enough to export the span traffic, or we are able to put the tap over there. So our goal is to export the raw traffic and place it into Zeek. So we don't have to overload our operational complex. That is why we ditch the customer router. So this is the most simplified network infrastructure version for Soho network. Now, for the enterprise, as our Imtiaz Bhai was asking, what could be the criteria for large enterprise and ISPs and carrier grade to work on Zeek? Definitely, there is a problem, there is a challenge, that high volume of traffic. It requires a big storage that also connect with the cost and budget the organization might have. Also, there could be several data center located in a different place, in different location. And also, encryption is another part to shift all the log from one place to another over the internet. So to overcome this particular challenge, what we suggest is to deploy that Zeek sensor in your different network segment. Like, let's say we have office in Petalanjaya, we have another office in Putrajaya, and then another office in Kuala Lumpur. So 3 different office, but the head office is located in Kuala Lumpur. So what we will do, we will deploy separate Zik sensor in Petalanjaya and Putrajaya, and also in Kuala Lumpur. And we will host our central log aggregator and SIM platform in Kuala Lumpur. Via that, we will be able to export all the log from agent and then export it into central place. So this is how we come up with the solution. This diagram also shows the same, like if you have a data center, it can use the data center sensor. It is a plain and simple deployment with Linux machine in any form of hardware. Definitely, it will depend on the network traffic you might have. If it is more than 1G, that means you need to have more than 16 GB of RAM and more than 2 core of CPU. For cloud-based sensor, it is the same. You deploy the Zik agent into your platform and connect it with your central one and export all the log via that. The enterprise network, definitely from your Zik sensor, you will export it to your log aggregator. You can either use FileBit or anything as such as a log aggregator. And also you can use Kafka to streamline your log transformation from one place to another, one system to another. And then in the SIEM or main log analytics platform, you can use Greylog, ELK Stack, or Wazoo, anything. Even you can use any proprietary software like Splunk or IBM QRadar, or there are so many out there. You can do that as well. The reason I mention the platform SIEM is you will be able to correlate, you will be able to connect and integrate threat intelligence platform into your SIEM project. And via that, you will be able to correlate your Zik traffic with those threat intelligence feed, so that it gives you more visibility about the threat actor and all the activities going on inside your network infra. Now, those who have opened your laptop and fire out any Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu 2204, you can run this command, apt update and apt upgrade, not distro upgrade, and then you can run the second command. This gives all the dependencies to install Zik. As I already have installed Zik into my machine, I will not go through these command, but those who want to do, please carry on. These dependencies are mandatory. Without these, all the features Zik might have to interpret all the logs and convert it into plain human readable way, it won't be possible. And also there are so many custom script might need something. So these are the dependencies. These are minimum one, and you need to make sure that these dependencies are installed. There should not be any failed or error during the installation process. So once these are installed and this command has been executed successfully, we will jump into the second next slides. Should I carry on? Yeah? Okay, cool. In the next one, we will connect with the Zik repo, as we are using Ubuntu. This is specific for Ubuntu 22.04. So if you use 20 or 24, there will be problem. This is specifically for 2204. So even if you are using 2210, yes, there will be problem. So if you want to go back to your home and do based on this slide, please use 2204. That's all. And once the repository is connected, perform an apt update. That is mandatory. And after that, you will be installing Zik/6.0, not any other version. This lab and all the analytics has been performed on Zik version 6.0. Once it will take a few minutes to install it into your system. And once it has been done, we will work with the bash RC so that we make our system understand the actual path of Zik binary. So just simple text bash rc echo, either you can vim or nano to bash rc file into your root directory and then export this particular line after echo inside this two inverted comma, and then execute the source command so that any process related to zkrc that can divert to the bash rc to get to know where is the source location. As Zeek is an optional project, so whenever we install any optional project into Linux system, the by default directory is /opt. So any configuration file or any log file or anything as such, for configuration file, you won't be able to see it into direct /etc. For log file, you won't be able to see it directly to /var/log. Anything for log, anything for configuration, all the etc and all the var log directory is located under /opt/zik. So we will be seeing all those in next version. And once the source has been declared, execute this particular fourth command, zik option version, to check what sort of version has been installed into your system. As I mentioned, the main Zik installation directory is /Zik, and there are three key files that you need to be working on. One is node.cfz, zikctl, and network.cfz. As you can see, that /etc is located in /opt and /zik. I have run the ls option lah, and it is showing me all the file. You can also be able to see that the user permission goes for root, but the group permission goes for Zik. So anything under /opt and /zik, you need to make sure that the group permission obviously goes for Zik user. In our Zik theoretical part, we mentioned that whatever activity is going on in your network traffic and the visibility we have, it convert all the activity into different part. What is that? For con.log, we get all the established connection information. So in your network traffic, if the connection has been already established, you will get to know it into con.log. But if the established is not connected, you won't be able to see any log in your con.log file. Same goes for DNS. Any DNS query, any activity within the DNS protocol, even if it is 50 port or not, you will get it into dns.log file. Same goes for http.log. Anything working in the 80443 port HTTP protocol, you will be able to see everything on http.log. And for SSL, only the certificate-related activity, whether it is downloaded or activated or not, you will be able to get it into ssl.log file. Files.log has the metadata of all the files that has been transferred or downloaded. So in the lateral movement, we can see that password file or exfiltration. We can see that any accounting file that has been transported or exported or downloaded. We'll be able to see the information in files.log. There is an interesting log file you will be able to see. The name is weird.log. Whenever we do any threat hunting, if we don't get to see anything interesting in these log files and another log files, we jump into weird.log. there is a very few case that we have found few interesting activity over there, and via analyzing that weird.log file, we were able to catch something very unique. So that is another tips, pro tips for you from this session, that don't forget to check weird.log file. This is a simple representation of a log file in a Excel format, though the log is huge. They have been represented with tab. So each tab has each column, and there are so many columns. So if you want to work with Zik log, please have a separate at least 24-inch of monitor and place your dashboard over there, so you will be able to see that. Sorry for this screen. This is a little bit low resolution image. That is why you are not seeing it clearly. But the first column is timestamp. So the timestamp is showing in a different format, but Zeek is giving us the opportunity to export or convert this log into JQ format. So Java is, yeah. In a JavaScript format, so you will be able to see it in a human readable way. And then user ID, source port, source IP, destination IP, protocol, then services, which services has been running, duration of the interval, and so many interesting things over there. As I mentioned, TS for timestamp, and then ID original host and responded host. So origin means source host and destination host. Then protocol, services, and history. As I mentioned, that confile, the connection, established connection information has been shared in confile, and basically it represents layer 3 and layer 4 element. In JSON format, if you want to see all those logs in JSON format, all we need to do is uh, execute the command jq space dot space the log file name, like dns.log. Then it will give us the human readable format, TAS, UID, original host port, response host port, and so on. So this is a very good representation of JSON format of log. Yeah, bye. Yes. Again.
Yeah, is it not convenient to export the log file to the some kind of database?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. As we are covering the fundamental, so I am working, I have started from the CLI mode so that I can give you the raw experience. In the production, what we do is to, there is open source tools, ELK stack. So it has a log export agent, file bit or packet bit or anything as such. Via that configuration, you should be able to export all these raw log into ELK stack and then visualize it via Kibana. If you use that generic ELK stack, you need to work with so many things. But if you work with Greylog or Wazoo, there is a by default template. You will be able to see everything already configured. So I would suggest either go with Greylog or Wazoo, anything of that. Then this particular slide basically showing us the timestamp information. As you can see that here the timestamp, no. Here the timestamp doesn't have a human representation mode, but when I execute the command date space minus D at the rate, then I took that format from the timestamp, the string, and it gives me that Thursday, October 24th, 12:30 p.m. UTC 2024. So these are the representation of the raw format. If you, as I mentioned, if you get it into Greylog or Wazoo or anything as such in the dashboard, you will be able to see the human readable representation. So no worries about that. Now, let us work. Okay. Let me get to my Linux system where I have installed the Zeek. So as I mentioned, this is the configuration directory, and inside the Zeek, we have seen that in our slides. Then if I want to check var, oh no, not in the var, it is directly in the log directory. So cd logs ls-h. Oh, permission denied. Okay. Yes, I did it. Okay. Mhm. So in the log directory, Zeek plays their log based on the date, year, and so forth. So for the current one, we'll be able to see inside the correct directory. And if you can see that I have conlog, DHCP, DNS, loaded scripts. So if I write any custom script, I'll be able to see the log from here. Notice log, packet filter, standard error, standard output, telemetry, and weird log. The log I have told about. So let's see what we have in weird log. WEIRD.log. Oh, I didn't install. Okay, let's not check on that. As I mentioned, it was crashed last night, and since then I wasn't able to make it work. No worries, we will be able to continue our workshop because the simulation, I ditched that one. Now, what can I do? We can, there is a, as I mentioned, that Zeek is for real-time network traffic monitoring tool. You also be able to monitor captured packet. uh, Captured packet. So if we capture any packet, it has .pcap format, right? So we able to uh, check that via Wireshark. We can also do that via Zeek as well. Let us see that one and then carry on our session of workshop via that. So pgap, okay. Create a directory. Don't worry, don't worry. No, no, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, apricot lab. Yeah, copy. Zik option R, then the file name, pick a file name. It will extract all the file from there. Now you can see that we have conlog, DNS log files, HTTP, NTP, OCSP, then packet filter, SMTP, SSL, Stealer, and X509. So these are the logs I got from that particular file. Now, if we go to our slide, we have head option N2 ssh.log. That means we'll be able to read SSH file, and the head will show us number of 2 lines. Now, as we don't have a SSH file, we will see DNS. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we don't have anything on fast 2 line. Let us increase that. We don't have anything on fast 6 lines. Let us increase that to 10. Yes, now we are able to see a few lines of information, and this is really inconvenient. How can I show? Now we can see something. So first line is timestamp, then in the original host, you are seeing 192.168.1.17. That is the source IP that is trying to establish connection via 53 port to severy.com.bd via 192.168.1.1. So this particular domain, don't dig that domain. This domain is a malicious domain. I took this log from one of the emoted infostealer malware file. So this particular file has actual attack information in it. So we'll be able to see some of them in our next session. Now for the head, yeah. So we can also read the zlog file in a normal format that we used to do in Linux, like grep, mention any specific string, and then mention the file name. So if we grep here, grep inside the inverted comma, put the IP, then DNS log. So I'll be able to see all the log lines that this particular IP has. So I can see that this IP 192.168.1.27 is querying so many domains, and a very few of the domains doesn't exist at all. So that means there is something wrong going on. In my based on my experience, I can say that. Now, if anything as such happen, so I'll also be able to see that how much log do I have. This is just a basic generic uh, analysis that a Linux admin should do while they are working with the log file. Like I should be able to count how much log line does DNS log have. So grep option C. Grep option C, and then yeah. Okay. No, no, no. So it has almost 15 lines. So this particular IP has 15 separate activity. I can say based on that. If we go to the next, yeah, let's say I do not want to see all the information that a single log line have, because it is a little bit inconvenient for me to check all of them. So what can I do? There is a tool Zeek already have, that is Zeek cut. Via that, I can explicitly fetch a specific column. So yes, definitely I have to know the name of the column, right? id.orig underscore h. That means original host. So if I mention them in my zipcut command, I'll be able to see that. So how can we could do cat DNS log, then pipe, then zipcut. Now we have to mention those, what can I say, column name. So I mentioned original host and responded host with referral. So I can see that all the source IP is only connected with only a destination IP, which is the gateway of that network. If I want to see, if I want to check the same thing with HTTP log, what can I see? See the difference? I was checking the DNS log only, and via the raw output, I was able to see that my local IP 192.168.1.27 queried 2 or 3 domain name that is not usual. So based on the activity in last 7 days, last 1 month or 6 months, I know that my user mostly browse Facebook or social media or anything as such. None other than that. But other than this social media, if my specific user is looking into a specific domain name that I never see, that means that is a problem. Why? That does not go with my normal activity. So what I did, I checked into another log file, another protocol or another service, which is HTTP, and saw this IP, local IP 1.27, connected with a public IP 45.56.99.101. Please do not dig or check this IP. This is a CNC IP. Do not directly click it. And after browsing this IP, my local PC downloaded this PNG file. This PNG file has the actual malware that affect my whole network. So there should not be any PNG file named like that. That is one thing with my curiosity mind. And also that user should not be downloading any PNG file into his laptop. That is another thing. And that PNG file should not be hosted into this domain, savory.com.bd. So we'll be going to those analytics in a later slide. When I dig deep into that, I saw that this PNG file was located to this domain. And via that, the file has been downloaded. So it was definitely a malicious activity. I was looking into that, and there are so many things coming into next slide. Just we need to just move on how we can do the analytical performance. There is another tool, Linux-based AWK. Via that AWK, we will also be able to do a analysis from Linux CLI for Zik. So if we use AWK, but we need to know that which column represents which number. Number 1 represent the timestamp, number 3 original host, and number 5 is responded host or destination host. So if we paste it, and then HTTP log, HTTP log.
No pipe.
Oh, yeah, no pipe, right. Thank you. Yes. So there is only one activity in HTTP. See? So this is a very simple analytics because the log volume is not huge. Also, I already know that there was an attack and all the evidence is inside this log file. So this is comparatively easy for me to come up with this output or explanation or conclusion. But in the real world, that log file could be 1 GB or 2 GB long. The HTTP file could have more than 1,000 lines. So whenever we do this analysis, that is why I explicitly mentioned that Zik scripting is necessary. But as I mentioned earlier, that our time is very short. And there are so many things is out there. As I mentioned, that it was basically meant for 5 days long hands-on. And we are covering it only in 3 hours. Now, if we go back to our next slide, we can see that we will be able to see that any connection that is stayed more than 60 seconds. So we should be able to see that via this command, definitely AWK by default Linux. And then now we are working on the conlog. So here we can see there are 2 activity that happened that stayed more than 60 seconds. That means 1 minute. So we can increase that time counting on the second, not the minute. So here you can see that my local IP was connected with this IP and this IP. In the YouTube and live streaming, whoever is watching this, please do not use this real IP and do not dig or check directly. This will create problem for you. So we can also see that one has used SSL, another one has used SMTP, and so on. In our next slide, this particular slide is showing us, yes, we are using cat to read the log file, DNS log file. Then we use the zcart to only see the query, the domain name that my user is querying, and then sorting it in a ascending way, find out the unique domain then again sort it within the number and find out the top 10 one. Why? Because in our last theoretical session, Imtiaz Bhai was asking that should we be able to see the top talker? So the top talker means the most queried domain, most queried destination from most active source IP. So if we execute this command, it gives me only 3 count for this domain. This is hosted in that local IP in our actual investigation, and there was an HTTP service was running. But rest of the queried domain, it doesn't have more than one activity. You can see mail.transgear.in is there, and severy.com.bd is there, and few from the microsoft.com. And I forgot, from here, 3 or 2 Microsoft subdomain is non-existing. So yes, they have used microsoft.com, but the subdomain is not existing. I don't know how they did that, but we found no evidence on that part. Yeah, this particular command gives us the response code and their count with the top talker number. This is giving us only the queried domain and the unique one, not the count of it. So I'm moving too fast. Where are those? Yes. So any question from here? The reason, the thing that I am showing you, it is purely basic, but the reason I am showing in this way is there are so many visualization tool we have, so many automation scripting we have, and we don't get to have the raw experience. So that make us really vulnerable when any problem occurred. We were never been able to do a troubleshoot. It takes more time to do the troubleshoot and so on. But if we get to do hands-on in this way, we are habituated with this, and it makes us familiar with all the analytics and all the options. So I think I will not move forward with anything more. There are so many ways to check. There are so many things to do with Zeek and Zeek scripting. I will update the portal with the updated slide. The reason I am not moving forward now because it is really boring for you to only see what I am doing other than you are doing. And my apologies because my lab has crashed. Otherwise, I told them that I would have exported it and hosted it into GitHub so that you can download it from there. So what I will do, not this week, next week, you will check my GitHub portal named Shamim Reza. You can find me in the internet. Just put Shamim Reza Shohag and you will be able to see my LinkedIn and GitHub link. From there, you will see Apricot NSM workshop. And you will be able to download all the configuration, all the raw command line execution, analytics, and the raw file of those network attack. So that whatever I put in this slide, you will be able to test it from your home. But don't work with the real IP in any moment. Okay? Any question from anyone? Oh, yes, please.
The probes that you put out to collect the NetFlow data and everything else, when it syncs it back, how often does it do it, and what sort of volume are you talking? I know NetFlow is generally quite small, but you are collecting other stuff too.
Yeah. So It depends on the use case. For large enterprise, the highest network traffic I got to collect was 10 GB per second, and that is real time. Per second, and that is real time. And uh, I had a separate slide from my workshop. Let me give you this one. So this is a very interesting question. So this was the initial network diagram that I have established for them to make sure that every segment from their layered network, I get all the net flow, all the logs. So they have different layer, two different data center located in two different cities, and also they are both data center configured in layered approach, like LAN, then distribution, then outer interface. And when I get to do that, I was like, in this part, this was a Zig sensor. It only gets the log from the server infra, not from any other segment from the full network infrastructure. And these two are my log aggregator located in two different data center, and these two are my two different analytical platform. That's all. So the problem was I wasn't able to get anything, and the system was not redundant. So what if this system goes down? I was not able to get anything from here, but I was able to get something from here. So what I did is I segmented it into three different ways. One from server, one from switching network, and then another one from distribution network. And place them into two different Zig sensor. So these are working as redundant. If anything falls down, the log from these two eventually goes to this one. And then once that log aggregation is completed over here, they shifted it to my another system. So if any one of them goes down, my channel is running. And once this A2 is getting all the log from this part, it within the heartbeat configuration, it exported everything here. So these two are talking to both of them every single millisecond and exporting all the data incrementally. And via a separate channel, definitely not on the production channel. We have connected a dark fiber for that. The infrastructure was huge. It was basically the biggest MFS in Bangladesh. So they are doing transaction more than 100K in a single day. So you can understand how much traffic they are generating. So that also had a problem. The problem is, if both go down, what can I do? And also, they both are taking the log from the network interface and also do the aggregation. So same time, they are doing both the work. So what I did is, we take this one as the log taker, and then do the aggregation and shift it to this one. And then this server export it to the, and eventually they both are talking and exporting all the logs to both of them in separate channel. And this is how we were able to minimize the concern that we don't have any redundancy platform or we don't have any backup. But the problem is, in 4 of the server, I have to use 120 GB of RAM because they have a log threshold of 10 GB. So for Zig sensor, there is a calculator. You need to have 4K, 4 core of CPU, that is minimum, and minimum of 64 GB of RAM for your production infra, if it is a 1 GB threshold.
sorry, that was for the
Zig sensor.
the sensor. Sorry.
The sensor. For the aggregator and for the visualization analytics, you don't need to use that amount of money. The reason is the sensor, it is getting all the log from the network device and also do the analytical, the
You're doing
basic.
the compute on the
Yeah.
edge rather than on the back end.
Right.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. No, that's all for me.
Ah, thank you. Gauravda, you are here.
It's kicking us out.
So, yes, so we'll be leaving now if you don't have any question. And yes, my information is out there in the website. And also, as I mentioned, just put the name into Google, Shamim Reza. You will find my GitHub and LinkedIn. And I also represent as a Wazoo ambassador. So probably from next week, I will be sharing so many content on a regular basis in LinkedIn and YouTube as a video tutorial, free content. So subscribe that. And if you need any help, just shoot me an email. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.